Hey guys, sorry about that. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to Francesca Tarantino Week here on the Boston Chris Show. Appreciate y'all being here. Yeah, we have Francesca Tarantino, the 17-year-old singer-songwriter from Central Florida, Orlando to be specific, is on the show for the very first time this week. And man, we had a great conversation with this young lady. Very, very smart, brilliant young lady, by the way, who knows a lot more about singer-songwriterhood than you would think she should at her age. And just a truly remarkable young lady. And I'm so excited to have you guys here. I hope you guys will consider liking this video. Maybe subscribe or follow the podcast if you want to see more in-depth, candid interviews with musicians and artists from all over the world. And of course, I need you guys to comment down below wherever you are tuning in from so we can see where you are from. And thank you so much for doing so. Today on the show, we're going to talk to Francesca about growing up in both Pennsylvania and Florida, how the Florida music scene has really grown her career, and how she became a songwriter, her influences, the things she has learned from her parents, and just the process she has for creating. What a remarkable young lady. So stoked to have Francesca here for the first time. And I hope you guys will check out this entire interview. But without any further ado, let's get into it with the one and the only Miss Francesca Tarantino right here on the Boston Chris Show.
It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. Until we all lose connection.
Hey everybody, I'm Marty Dodson. Thanks for tuning in to Boston Chris podcast. Hope you enjoyed it.
Hey y'all, it is Francesca Tarantino week here on the podcast, and just so super stoked to have you here. I hope you're having a good Monday. It is Monday, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, I don't know why everyone hates on Mondays. I don't
All
mind
right,
Mondays.
so just
I'm
so
gonna
we're
be there.
clear, you're still young, so you haven't really experienced the Monday blues yet.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, even when I was going to actual school, I actually enjoyed Mondays, but maybe when I get older, I'll start hating on them, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
what's that about? Yeah, you had to deal with school.
Yeah, well, I used to do in-person school, and then I stopped doing in-person school for my 11th grade year, so my junior year.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have more time for music because this is the career path I've chosen. And it was just easier to do online for my time management. And there's also a much wider variety of classes, and
Yeah.
I get to gig more often now. I mean, all my friends are still in school right now, so I wouldn't even be on this interview. So just want to put that
Yep.
out there.
All my kids were homeschooled too, so I feel it. I know what it's about. Yeah, it's funny. So did you just like school so much that like school was more fun than the weekend? Is that why Mondays didn't matter?
No, I mean, I definitely was never a person who disliked going to school. I always enjoyed going and seeing my friends and seeing my teachers, and I don't know, it was always nice, but I did, dread waking up early some days, but
Yeah.
once I'm actually awake and, up, I actually like being up early. But I don't know. I just always I don't really know. I really never hated waking up early. I always hated Thursdays for some reason. Thursdays for never my
Thursdays.
it's such a random day,
Yeah, that's
but
random as hell. Yeah.
and all my classes were fine on Thursdays, but just Thursdays I would always be more tired than normal, and I never really knew why.
Yeah, maybe it's just like the weekend's almost here, but not quite, right? Like you're more than halfway, but still not quite the day before, right? Yeah, I could
Yeah,
kind of
I
see
guess
that.
my mind is like starting to shut off and starting to get tired, but I
Yeah.
still have 2 more days left. I
All
don't
right,
know.
so usually we have an icebreaker question, but like we've already broken the ice, but I'm going to ask it anyway because it's part of our theme song. What are your favorite drinks right now?
Oh, my favorite drinks. Well, my favorite drink probably of all time is kind of basic. I just love lemonade. Obviously, that's kind of a little kid answer. Obviously, I don't drink, but I love lemonade. I always drink lemonade at gigs. Um, I love Shirley Temples too.
Hmm.
There's actually this is super random, and I think it's funny, and everyone should try this. So I'll give a little funny story. So I was at a Disney park, Animal Kingdom, one day. I live in Orlando, Florida, so I
Hmm.
go to amusement parks quite often. And in the Avatar slash Pandora area of Animal Kingdom, there is a little canteen. And so at this canteen, they have a drink called the Pandora Sunrise. And so it's this like pineapple blue, like really yummy drink. And it's kind of like lemonade. And I loved it. I was obsessed with it. And so one day I go to the park and I'm like, I go into this canteen and I'm like, oh, can I have a Pandora Sunrise? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, we're out of it today. And I was
Oh
so
no.
mad.
Yeah.
But she gave me a little tip and she said if you go to like the freestyle cup things where you just fill your own drinks, you can kind of make like a dupe version of it. And so she said do equal parts of Sprite and lemonade and then just put in a little bit of blue Powerade. And it is one of the best things ever. It still
Hmm.
tastes pretty much like the Pandora Sunrise. So I highly encourage everyone watching to go try equal. My connection seems. Oh, there we go. My just try lemonade and Sprite, and then add a little bit of blue Powerade, and I think it's life changing.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. See, that's why we have this question, man. People always laugh. Favorite drinks? What's that about? But it's part of our theme song. But honestly, it gets a wide variety of answers, and it's pretty cool
You
stuff.
probably never heard that one before, so.
No, I have not. And just so we're clear, if lemonade was a kid's drink, they wouldn't start adding alcohol to it when you're an adult. Okay, just so we're clear.
I guess that makes sense.
So let's talk a little bit about the music. You have sent in a live song that we're going to feature here as well. It's the brand new single, which is called Spider on the Wall. Tell us a little bit about this song and how it came to be.
Yeah, so actually, pretty funny story with this one. One day I was folding laundry with my mom, and little fun fact about me, I do not like spiders. I just never thought they were nice little creatures. I was always kind of scared of them, and I would always call someone to come and kill them for me because I could never do it myself. And I hated spiders. I hate the way they crawl. I hate everything about them. And so we were folding laundry, and there was a spider on the wall. And so my mom goes, she's afraid of spiders too. Oh, Francesca, there's a spider on the wall. And I'm like, oh my gosh, mom, what are we gonna do? And we were home alone, so we didn't have anyone to kill it. So we had to like do something about it ourselves. And so I don't really remember what happened, but at some point she goes, oh, you know what? Spider on the Wall. That'd be a pretty good song title. And I was like, oh, mom, what are you talking about? That's such a bad song title. Like, what the heck? That sounds so stupid. And then I went upstairs, finished folding the laundry. I sat down. I was like, Spider on the Wall. And then I wrote the song in 5 minutes, just
Nice.
about someone being like Spider on the Wall, just watching you in your life, and you're scared to push them away, or hey, what are you still doing here? Even though you left my life, but you're kind of lurking around in here, and you just don't know what to do because you're afraid. And I wrote the song in 5 minutes, even though I shunned the idea of the song title, but I think it turned out pretty good.
Very cool. We have a segment later on called "Fly on the Wall." So, yeah, very cool stuff. All right, but we're stoked to show and feature this live version of "Spider on the Wall." Y'all check it out.
Inflation RM. You're still here, but I'm just too scared to touch you. You're my biggest fear. You're watching me, and I just can't push you away. And after all, you're just a spider on the wall. Spot you from across the crowded room. So many people, but it just feels like two. I only see me and you. What will it take for me to realize you're smarter than all your petty lies? Just look me in my eyes. You're still here, but I'm just too scared to touch you. You're my biggest fear. You're watching me,
All right, so we're back. So I'm going to help out the spiders in your house a little bit. I'm going to try at least, okay? So spiders are given a really bad reputation, kind of like snakes. But I'm going to tell you why spiders are important. And perhaps because of this, you guys will be a little less likely to kill a spider in the future.
All right, let me
All right.
know.
So, did you know that the number one creature in the world that kills the most human beings is the mosquito?
Really? I did not know that.
And did you know what the number one predator of a mosquito is?
It's spider, isn't it?
It is.
All right. Yeah, you know what? I still want to kill them, but I understand.
Yeah.
I know they are. I guess they are pretty important. But why do
They
they have
are.
to be so scary looking? Like, why can they just be a little bit nicer?
I agree. They are scary looking, but they will. Most spiders will leave you alone. Just so you know.
Yeah,
But
I guess they will. I guess we just I guess we do put a pretty bad reputation on
yeah,
them.
it's all about the reputation. Like I feel like snakes are the same way. Sharks. I'm terrified of sharks. But
I'm
like,
actually not scared of sharks for some reason.
see,
I'm
yeah,
not scared of snakes either. I've always liked snakes, but just spiders for some reason.
yeah. See, for
Spiders.
me, the one is that I'm the most afraid of are bees, like stinging insects.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand them.
I don't like bees, but I love bumblebees. I've
Yeah.
always loved
Yep.
bumblebees, but
All right.
bees, eh.
All right, so this show's not about insects, but
That's
and to
true.
be fair, a spider's not an insect either. So a lot of people don't know that either. But anyway, this is not a show about spiders. So Francesca is from, as she mentioned earlier, Central Florida, around the Orlando area. I actually have family in DeLand, by the way, so I'm very familiar with the area.
Cool.
I also went to boot camp in Orlando, so I know the area quite well. But what I don't know is kind of what it's like growing up there. So tell us what it was like for you as a young kid in Orlando.
Well, actually, I'm originally from Pennsylvania and I moved to Florida when I turned 8.
Okay.
So I really spent like half of my life so far in Pennsylvania and half of my life in Florida. And when I lived in Pennsylvania, I wasn't really in the music scene yet. So when I moved to Florida, that's when I kind of made the decisions that I wanted to be a musician. And I've loved growing up here. I've loved all the people I've met. I've loved performing around here. Although in the summer the outside gigs do get a little bit hot.
Oh, I imagine.
Um, it's still very nice. I think the music scene here is absolutely amazing. There are a lot of amusement parks. I'm wearing a Universal shirt right now as we speak, but I guess I've always kind of grown up around amusement parks because where I lived in Pennsylvania, I would go to Hershey Park all the
Yeah.
time and this place called Knoebel. But I guess I was a very big amusement park person, but I've loved both places. I think I was very fortunate to live, here in Florida, and I do love it. I don't. One thing I don't really love is the weather. The humidity kind of gets me sometimes, and I'm much more of a mountain person, and obviously there aren't many of those here, pretty much none. But for the most part, I love it, and I think I'm very fortunate to live here.
Yeah, I've noticed your tour schedule or your dates. Like you're very, very busy, and I've noticed that it's a lot of different types of venues as well. So it's a really nice scene there, then, isn't it?
It definitely is. There's so many different places to gig, and you're right, they all are very different. The way they look, the food they serve, so many different stages and people. It's also different, and I love the variety of it. It's really cool.
Yeah. So as you're growing up, how was music finding you initially? Like, how are you being immersed into music at first?
It was pretty much my parents. I grew up in a very musical household, not because they were in the music business, but just because they enjoyed music. They played it all the time. And my dad did play guitar as a hobby, not professionally or anything, but that kind of got me into guitar. He also collects them. And one day, I was maybe 6 years old. He got me my first guitar,
Wow.
and I just put it in my hands, and I did not know what I was doing. I mean, I still had baby hands at that point, but I thought it was really cool, and I thought it was a really cool instrument. And I knew I wanted to rock basically because I my parents played around the house like Aerosmith and Iron Maiden and the Doobie Brothers and Eagles and Leonard Skinner and all those different classic rock bands. And so obviously growing up with that, I grew a liking to that sound. And when I moved to Florida, I knew I wanted to sing, even though I had horrible stage fright. I knew I wanted to sing and overcome that. And so I started in musical theater. And musical theater helped me get over that stage fright big time. But after a few years of doing a bunch of shows, I loved it. But I was like, you know what? I want to rock. I'm going to get back to my rock roots. I want to sing like Iron Maiden and I'm going to write my own songs and play guitar. And so that's when I started taking guitar very seriously, very serious lessons. And I also made the route, the switch to artistry vocals as opposed to musical theater singing, which is very different.
Yeah.
So I think music has always been a very big part in my life. And I'm very happy that I've chosen it as my career path.
Let's talk a little bit about musical theater. What was it about musical theater that helped you get over the stage fright?
Honestly, I don't really know because it took a very long time. Even every single time I stepped down on stage, I was still very nervous. But I think being forced is the wrong word, but kind of being forced onto the stage and also being in an environment of just people wanting to learn. And also my vocal coach at the time did an amazing. She told me put affirmations on my mirror and read them to me every day and just do things that would help me overcome being nervous and just grow confidence. And just all of that over the years helped me so much in realizing that, you know what, I have fun doing this, so why am I scared to do it? And then it just grew from there. Obviously, I'm still a little nervous when I go on
Mm-hmm.
stage, but it definitely helped me big
That'll
time.
never stop either, by the way, no matter how much you do it. How much of the musical theater experience, I'm curious because I've heard this before from other artists getting over awkwardness and stage fright and things like that, and that musical theater helped them. How much of it was you had a part to play, and there were, dozens of other parts sometimes in these plays, and all of those other people are depending on you to do your part, otherwise the show is not going to be good. So how much of that pressure helped you kind of get over it? Like, it's kind of like, look, everybody's depending on me to do my part, just like you're depending on them to do theirs.
You know what? I never actually really thought about that, but I think that was kind of in the back of my mind, not actually thinking about it
Mm-hmm.
consciously. And I think that did definitely help me want to, like do better and actually go out and do things and show people that I could go out on stage and do things because they were also depending on me as if I were depending on them. So it was really like a group effort, and I think that also helped me a lot. And definitely at that time I didn't realize that, but I think looking back on it now, you made me realize that, and that's actually a good point that I never thought about.
Yeah, it's just funny because when you're on stage by yourself, if you mess up, you just embarrass yourself. But if you're in a band or if you're part of a play, you're embarrassing everybody, the director, the producer, So yeah, that can either help you or hurt you, right? You also talked about like the differences between musical theater and almost like the mainstream way of doing music, right? And how you can. I love that you're so young and you realize this because this comes up a lot on the show too, where you can really kind of formulate some bad habits when it comes to musical theater, if which is great for theater, but like if you're trying to get on the radio, you're trying to do popular venues, that's not so great anymore, right? So
Mhm.
as a younger artist, how did you transition away from that and get away from those habits?
There were definitely a lot of things I had to adapt to
Yeah.
getting out of that and going into the artist route. And one thing in musical theater, especially the roles that I was playing, there was a lot of belting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say shouting, but sometimes it would force you to shout and you would strain your voice. And sometimes people don't teach you proper vocal care. There we go. And you don't even realize it yourself. And you are just belting all the time, constantly. And, over time, it kind of kicks you in the butt. And then you try to sing something and you're like, wait, where to go? It's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I switched over to the artistry route, I realized that not every single song has to be shouting and shouting and shouting, but to really play with dynamics and your throat and your vocal cords. And honestly, the best part about singing is the dynamics and being softer sometimes and being louder other times, because I think that makes it even more special. In musical theater, obviously you're playing a part and you're basically trying to be someone you're not, and that's the whole point of it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I think something that was I don't it wasn't hard to transition to, but it was just something I had to be conscious of, was when I was on stage as an artist, I could just be myself and nobody would get mad at me for that because it's not like I have to say a line or I have to say this. I can say something funny every now and then. I can, misspeak a word and then laugh at myself and people will laugh with me. It's not as strict and it's very free flowing and that's one of the things I love about it. And you know, I think it's very cool that I can be whoever I want on stage.
Amazing stuff. I love how you're really helping me out in unpacking who you are, by the way. So
Mhm.
this is great stuff. I love how you're talking about your vocals and the dynamic behind them, being soft, being able to belt something. It's all about the delivery of a lyric, right? And the delivery of a lyric is the most important thing in connecting with an audience, I feel like. All right. So as a songwriter now, too, and again, extremely young, y'all. She's what? You're 17, right?
I'm 17,
So
yes.
she's young. You guys won't believe it based on what she's talking about and how brilliant she sounds right now. But how much is the delivery or the dynamic of your voice helping you as a songwriter? Right? So you're in
It's
the room and you're writing a song and you know what you can do with your voice. That's going to help you with that, right?
100%. It's basically the main thing is basically choosing a key that is right for you. And sometimes a song will lend itself to a certain key. Maybe like a sadder song will obviously lend itself to maybe sometimes a lower key or a minor area. And sometimes people, aren't in that vocal range or they want to sing higher or they want to sing lower. And it just
And
kind of
words have a
depends on
melodic structure too, anyway, already, just by speaking
exactly.
them. Yeah.
Exactly. Like as we're talking right now, it's
Hmm.
pretty obvious. So when you're writing, you have to be very conscious of that. And I think it's also really cool singing something and writing something and then being like, "Hey, that's kind of boring." And then you think about the things that you can do with your voice, maybe saying it softer this way and louder this way or doing it the other way around and seeing all the different ways. It's like a puzzle piece
Hmm.
and you can shape the puzzle pieces to how you want them to fit. Wow, that was really cool. I've never
Yeah.
said anything like that before. That is exactly what it's like.
Yeah, and that's just a extremely good tool to have as a writer, isn't it?
Definitely,
Yeah. I
definitely.
love this stuff, man. I have a little bit of stuff on my outline here, and I have been pulling from it at all today, which is always a good interview, by the way. But one thing
Uh,
I did want to chat with you about is your obvious vibe as a kind of a pop rock somewhere in there, right? It's hard to ever put a genre on anybody nowadays, and that's a good thing, by the way. But I hear a lot of pop in your sound. There is a lot of rock vibes there too, that kind of classic sound from the late '70s, which you've already kind of talked about. Where are the pop influences coming from? So I imagine like you're getting all these older influences from your parents, but you're living modern times too. So what's kind of getting through the wall there for you, is influence wise?
I think a bunch of different things. I'm a very diverse person when it comes to music. I listen to a bunch of different things, like even, pop. There's a country, there's rap. Sometimes I literally listen to everything. Some people that really influence my sound. Um, Paramore. I love the band Paramore. They're very pop rockish.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia Rodrigo, more on the pop side a little bit. I really love the band My Chemical Romance. They're my favorite band right now. Um, I just listen to so many different things, and I think all of that just comes together into my sound to say that I'm just this genre because I'm really not, because everything that I'm listening to is impacting what I'm writing. So it's all just very different. But those are just some people I like, and then
It's so
obviously we have
funny.
a classic stuff.
Yeah, you just mentioned the two people that you remind me the most of, and that's Haley Williams and Olivia Rodrigo. Yeah,
That is so nice of you. Thank
yeah, I
you.
love, man, I love Olivia Rodrigo. I'm almost 50 years old, and I'm here to tell you, like, she is my vibe. I don't know, I can't explain it. I don't relate to her whatsoever. But I just love her vibe. Same with like Chapel Roan and
Mhm.
Billie Eilish. I don't know. I have to have my pop girls in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think they're awesome. I think there's something for everyone out there.
How would you personally describe your vibe? Like, you have a venue that wants to book you. What are you telling them? Who are you? Like,
The main words I use are pop rock. I think that's the most broad explanation I can give. I think it's very hard to describe my sound as it is, but if someone excuse me, were to ask me an artist or ask me what is your sound most like, I would either say Paramore or Olivia Rodrigo. I think that's who I relate to the most. But if I'm just telling somebody, I would mainly say pop rock because it's a lot of words to dissect it all in there and then
Hmm.
say everything else.
Yeah, it's easier to be broad, right? Just
Hmm.
yeah, I understand that so much, but like I always felt like the best answer to that question is listen, right? Just go listen.
That's true.
I can't explain to you who I am because everybody's going to get a different thing from it. It's very subjective. Let me ask you this, because as a young artist or as a young musician, let me change that because there's a huge difference. And you are an artist too, but I want to formulate this question from a musician standpoint. As a young musician, it's very easy to just kind of get involved in cover music, right? Especially as somebody who plays so many shows. And I know you're playing a majority of cover songs too, probably at these venues. But what is inspiring you to write? Because usually, as a young artist, it's something extremely emotional will happen, and that makes you want to put pen to paper. And hey, I'm a musician anyway. I could probably do this. So, what got you over that hurdle?
I mean, obviously I'm young and I
Yeah.
haven't lived a lot of life.
Hmm.
Um, so I haven't, had those some of those hardships that other people have in life, and I haven't had a ton of experiences. But when I do write, I really like to write about things that have happened to me personally and how they made me feel. Because when I listen to other songs and I listen to like Olivia Rodrigo or Paramore or Billie Eilish, all the songs that I tend to like and listen to are the ones that talk about actual things that happened to them because then I can relate to them and I'm like, oh, she's so right about this. Like, I can relate to this so much.
Hmm.
And it just makes me feel music on such a more personal level, and I think mixing that with super melodic tunes just makes it so amazing in my opinion. So when, something happens to me in life, I immediately just try to, or I don't immediately, but I'll remember how I felt and I'll remember what happened. And then later I'll go back and think about how it made me feel and how it may have made other people feel because obviously I'm not the only one living life and other people have gone through the same thing. And I just try to put into words how an event made me feel, and that's the best way I can describe it because I really like just writing about things that actually happened to me.
Yeah, great answer. Let me ask you this: when you are writing about those things that you personally experienced, are you thinking about how your audience will relate to it too?
Pretty much, yeah, because when I'm obviously listening to those other songs, like I stated before, I'm thinking about how I can relate to them. So instead of being, I try not to be as specific with my songwriting and I try to leave it more broad. So when people listen to it, they can be like, oh, yes, this person did me wrong like this. So it really depends on the person. Like my song Hold On to Me, it's about just having a relationship where the person is drifting away and you're trying to hold on to them. But I didn't specifically write it about a boyfriend or like a significant other. It's kind of just about any person. Like it could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a pet, it could literally be anything.
So are you're thinking in those terms, being less specific while you're writing because of who or what your audience is. You're already thinking about that in the writing room.
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously there are times where I like to get more specific, but most of the time I like to, I don't know, just leave it to whoever the listener is thinking about.
Where are you learning this stuff as a young artist?
I don't know.
It's
I guess
just
just listening to other artists and thinking about how it made me feel. And then I don't know, when I'm writing, I kind of like to, this is what I always say. When I actually sit down and I say, okay, I'm going to write a song today, I always I'm not really happy with how the final product turns out. I just know I can do better. But then later on, the second something happens to me and I'll just randomly write a song and it takes me like 5 to 10 minutes, they always turn out so much better than when I actually force myself to sit down. So I think in the creative process, I just kind of let myself go. And most of the time, I don't really have strict rules. And I think that's the best part about it. And I just kind of, I don't know, let my mind go while also being conscious about, the audience and how music makes me feel and all the other technical things.
yeah. So as you're starting out, you're writing from personal experience, but as you mature as a writer, are you also trying to write from other perspectives as well?
Probably, everything I've written so far is from my perspective pretty much and things that have happened to me. But honestly, I don't know what I want to write about in the future or where it's going to go. I think just whatever comes to me is going to come to me. And I think that's when it turns out the best. So I'm just always about letting the world take me wherever it wants to go. And then I take it from there with words.
Yeah, and is your writing typically title based? And I'll try to explain. Like earlier when you were talking about Spider on the Wall, you kind of got that from a title, right? You heard the phrase and then you wrote a song around it. Is it always like that?
Not really, no. That is the one of the first times that has actually happened. I'm usually most of the time many people used to ask me this question if it was the lyrics first or the music first, and normally I would say, you know what, it's pretty random. But recently it's been more of the music first, and I would write chords and
Hmm.
then I would put the lyrics to them. But for Spider on the Wall, it was kind of a random one where I just had that song title and then took it from there out of nowhere. But most of the time, it's really I have a melody in my head or I write some chords and then I just randomly, write random things that come to my mind. Actually, my summer song that I wrote, Not So Serious, I didn't even have a name for it for the longest time. I just had all the lyrics and song wrote out, and it was just called Summer Song. And then I just randomly called it Not So Serious because it was just the lyric that stuck out to me the most. So most of the time, it's not really a title that drives me, but Spider on the Wall was the oddball for me.
And as a writer, songwriters I feel like are conduits, right? You're just kind of taking what comes to you. Are you pretty open to every single side of songwriting, whether it's melodic or lyrical first, or if it's song title based? You're open to whatever comes in.
Definitely anything. Wherever my mind goes, I just let it go there. I try never to force it anywhere because I feel like that's, like I said, when it turns out not as good. So whenever, like Spider on the Wall, literally, the title just came to me when we were folding laundry and that happened, and then I just took it from there. But other times it will be the music, and then the music will give me lyrics, and then it just all comes in my brain super randomly, and I'm always open to whichever way it comes to me.
Yeah, there are some songwriters out there that are so adept at doing things a certain way, right? Like they'll get a lyric first or a title or whatever. Maybe it's a melodic structure, could be a riff, whatever it is. And they're so used to that being successful that they leave out all the other possible ways of songwriting. It's not something they do voluntarily either. It's just like it's almost like you ignore things that you don't like, right? Like if you don't like fish, you don't even think about the smell of fish, right? You just
Mhm.
it stays out. You just focus on what you're good at, essentially. I love that you're open to all of that, though, because that's just going to add versatility to you. Um,
Mhm.
Let me talk about your role in the studio. So I always say on the show that there are two sides to songwriting. There's the actual blank page where you turn that blank page into a song, but then you take that blank page to the studio, and that's where the real work begins, and you turn that into a fully fledged song. So what is your role like in the studio? Are you more hands off, letting the producer do what they do, or do you have a lot of input?
So I actually am my own producer. I self-produce my own
Wow.
songs.
Okay.
My first 4 songs were with a producer, and I really liked that. And being in the studio taught me a lot about obviously producing, and I tried to pay very close attention to what he was doing and how everything was done. And then one day I just made the switch and I was like, you know what? I want to learn. I want to do this myself. I want to have my own creative path. I want to be able to do things just however my brain thinks I should do it. And I decided I was going to start self producing. And obviously, it's super different from being in a studio. Um, but I got all the equipment and I started. The first song I self-produced was Hold On to Me. And it's such a fun process, and once I'm actually sitting down and working on a song, I just can't get up. I'm so zoned in onto what I'm doing. I will often forget to eat. I'm just so zoned in onto actually working and adding all these things, and my mind goes in so many different places. I just try I make so many different tracks and then decide later on what I want to do with them. I'm very, very, very creative in the studio. Sometimes you will have those creative blocks where you can't really think of anything.
Hmm.
You take a little break and then you come back and everything's just there again. And I would say I'm very happy I made the switch to self producing. It's taught me a lot and I absolutely love the process.
It's very different than just writing a song, though, right? It's just like it's a whole different toolbox.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's so different. You gotta write the song and then you have to produce it, and it's just they're two totally different things, but
Yeah.
they all go together to make songs, so.
It's awesome stuff. There's a couple of things that I am extremely impressed about you in, and I want to give you your flowers on this because I think a lot of artists could learn from you in this aspect. And I'm talking about social media and how to be connectable on social media. Again, such a young artist, but you seem to get it. And I'm going to really talk about a specific side of social media that I noticed about you. You are very connectable, not just personable with your audience, but you literally respond to every single comment that you get. I've never seen anybody do this. Look, guys, I've been in this business for 10 years now, and you are the first artist I've seen that literally responds to every single comment, whether it's negative, positive, doesn't matter. Why do you do that?
I mean, I just always like going and seeing what people say, and then when I'm there, it's always nice to answer them. I mean, I think obviously there are a lot of comments and it takes time, but I love being real, and a lot of people ask questions in the comments, and I know if I were someone who was asking a question in the comment section, I would get kind of disappointed if they didn't answer me. So, if they're taking the time to, comment on my post and like my post, why don't I take the time to answer them? Obviously, as a whole, it takes a lot of time because there are a lot, but I think it's always quite rewarding. And then those people, sometimes consider me a friend or they're definitely a fan, and I always connect with them on a deeper level, which I think is very nice. So when I can, I try to do it with my time, but it
It's
always
just,
depends. But
it's
I
just
do like doing it.
very remarkable, and you deserve your flowers for that. Honestly,
Thank
like
you.
kudos to you because there's nobody doing that. There's just literally nobody doing that. There are people that try, right? They will respond. Like maybe they put out a post and they'll respond to the, for the first hour or something. But like you are legitimately checking your notifications every day, and I love that so much. What do you think? What do you think of the benefits to that?
I like I said, I think it allows people to connect with me on a deeper level than just seeing my post and saying, "Oh, she's a good guitar player. Oh, she's a good singer. Let me like it, give her a comment. Oh, that was a great job." I think it's just more personal and allows for a deeper connection when I actually answer and respond. I mean, social media, we don't even talk to people face to face. Like it's just this app on your phone that you open up and then see something and you like it and then you comment. So I think, adding that personal aspect of connection is really important, and I'm an open book and real, and I'm here to connect with people, and I think that's one of the most important things. Every time I go to a gig, I always love how I get to connect with people and meet so many different people, and I think I have so many different people on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook all around the world. So I think it's cool to just answer a comment. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
takes 2
creating a
seconds.
sense of community, right?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love that. I love building a little community in my comment section and, building connections with people. I think it's really nice.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Last segment before we get into our some fun stuff, which I really wanted to chat with you about. As a young artist, it's going to be difficult to kind of balance your music career, which is, let's be honest, this is turning into a career for you. It probably already is, as many shows as you're playing. But how do you balance that with remaining a kid and making sure you have a childhood? And what things are your parents doing to make sure that you still live a childhood?
Well, obviously it is very hard to balance, and that is a great question
Thank
because
you.
a lot of people do the same thing I'm doing, and either sometimes they put their career on hold and they put all of their time into their personal life, or they put all their personal life aside and, go fully into their career. But I think it's really cool having a balance of both. And obviously it's very hard to find the time to, hang out with my friends, hang out with my family, do hobbies that I enjoy to, break up some time. But, I schedule some days off where I can hang out with my friends, hang out with my family. My brother is actually coming to visit from college, so I scheduled some days off so I can hang out with him. And I think it's very important to do that because once you start putting yourself into your career full time, then it might start to get a little boring and you don't want to do it anymore. And I've always said that you should always enjoy
Hmm.
no matter what job it is. And I'm very fortunate that I love what I do and I don't want that to change. So I keep it fun and, I hang out with my friends a lot of the time. I hang out with my family a lot of the time and I also work on my career a lot of the time. So I have a very good balance. Time management is very important and it's something I've learned over the years, and I have some great friends too who actually keep in contact with me even though I don't actually go to school. Um, and I just do my best to balance it all out. Sometimes it gets hard and sometimes I do feel left out, but I just try my best to, you know, do my part. And I think that's really important.
Make sure you schedule Francesca time too, always.
Yeah, that's true. I,
Because
I do that too. Don't worry.
I think that's the biggest thing that really stops people from enjoying music, right? You just don't have any time for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's important, I think. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we got Francesca Tarantino here for the very first time on the Boston Chris Show. Super stoked to have her here. We're going to get into our fun segments. We use these for like little shorts and reels and TikToks and things to kind of create buzz for the show. And everybody loves these segments. And some of them, you get to choose the segment. So this will be fun. The first one you get to choose. So choose either Did You Know or Fun.
Fun.
All right, so what are some hobbies that you have outside of music?
Ooh, I really love sewing recently. I haven't had too much time, but I got myself a sewing machine, or my parents got me a sewing machine as a gift. And I've just spent a lot of time making like little pencil cases and makeup pouches. I also really love baking. I just made cinnamon rolls last week and they were absolutely divine. I love going out on walks. That's something I've been doing recently. I love watching TV shows and I love watching old movies with my mom.
So what's your favorite show right now?
My favorite show right now, I'm a very big person about watching a show based on the season, and because it's fall, I watch Gilmore Girls. That's just like
Okay,
my show of the season, pretty much.
I understand. So I watch a lot of like off-grid shows on or channels on YouTube. So it's always in season, right? Like as
Yeah,
long as you're watching them live, right? So when it's winter here, it's winter there.
that's
All
true.
right, next segment's called Impactful. This is kind of a new segment that we just started doing. So I want you to name three people that really impacted your life in some way, and then tell us the biggest thing you learned from each of those people.
Okay, I will say my mom with time management. She has taught me like no other to stay on top of time. Excuse me. My dad, who has really taught me to learn about things as opposed to just doing things and taking things the quick route, but learning how to do things, learning the science behind it, how everything is, you know, happened. And then I would say my brother for reminding me that, everything is mostly about fun and you just want to have fun in life because you literally only live once. So I think he has reminded me to, take a step back and laugh and smile and, do all the fun things.
Good stuff, man. That's all three are great lessons to learn. All right, so next segment, choose either Mount Rushmore or one artist.
Or what was the other thing you said? I'm sorry.
One artist is the name of the second one.
Hmm. One artist, just any.
No, choose either one of those. Mount Rushmore is the name of the first segment, or one artist is the second one.
One artist.
All right,
Understood.
so who is one artist you wish the whole world knew about other than yourself?
Recently, I've really loved an artist called Malcolm Todd. I actually saw him live here in Orlando, and I think he's such a genre that I can't describe. I think he has a little bit of rock in him and he plays the guitar and I just think his vibe is so cool and I've really enjoyed watching him kind of go viral and blow up a little bit. I wasn't a day one fan. I kind of joined a little late, but I love Malcolm Todd. He's one of my favorite artists right now.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. All right, so next one's called What the Heck. So this is kind of a game show. I'm going to give you 5 questions, and you have to tell me the first thing that hits your brain. These are kind of visual questions, okay?
Okay.
So the idea is I ask the question, something visual is going to happen in your brain, and you just tell me. Don't change your mind. All right?
Okay.
All right, number 1, which superpower do you wish you had?
Flying.
All right,
Fun.
number 2, what is the funniest thing you ever wore?
I don't know. I literally didn't think of anything. Uh, I had to wear a Stitch onesie for something in middle school. It was just kind of comfortable. It
All
wasn't
right.
really funny.
So hold up, hold up.
Uh-oh, it's something Stitch, I can tell. Oh my goodness, no way. It's so similar to the one I have. Mine just wasn't like that's hilarious. It's like I called it. That's so funny.
Yep. I also have Tigger and Horton the elephant. So I used to stream video games live, and if people donated a certain amount, then I had to put one of those on.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
All right, number 3. What celebrity annoys you the most?
Annoys me? I don't know. I don't really know a lot about celebrities. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really someone who's too like chronically online, so I
Okay.
don't really know enough with one that annoys me.
Okay, number 4. Let me see here. What is no big deal for most people but torture to you?
Nothing is popping in my mind. Um,
So do you have like a pet peeve?
I do have pet peeves, but oh, got it. When people say like, oh my gosh, I need to tell you what happened, and then they'll say, oh, never mind, I can't tell you. Like they
Yes.
told me not to tell you. What do you expect me to do? Of course I'm gonna ask. No, you have to tell me. Like then I'm just on a cliffhanger the rest of the day.
Yeah, I hate that too.
Horrible.
Yeah,
Horrible.
or like somebody will say something and somebody will interrupt them, and then they don't want to tell you then because they got interrupted.
Yes, I just
Yeah,
want to know. Like,
yeah.
tell me.
Come on,
I'm
damn it! Don't
listening.
play that game. All right, all
Exactly.
right. Number 5, last one. Let's see here. Have you ever tripped on stage? And if so, how did you play it off as cool?
I never play anything off as cool, so um, I do lose my balance a lot. I don't know if I probably have tripped, but what I do all the time, this probably happens at every show. It's I'll just be playing guitar, I'll step away from the mic for a second, and I'll lose my balance in some way, and I'll just like slowly fall over, but then I'll catch myself, and then I'll just laugh for a second, and then I'll just go back to singing. It's very I don't know. I just laugh at myself for a second, then I'm like, oh wait, I kind of got to keep singing, but
Yeah,
I
nobody
just
saw
lose my
that.
balance
No,
a lot.
nobody saw that. Nobody saw that.
Yeah,
Nobody saw. Yeah.
exactly. No one
All right.
cares.
All right. Next segment, you have a choice between these two. Choose either bucket list or fly on the wall.
Let's do fly on the wall.
All right. So fly on the wall. Tell me one room in history you wish you were a fly on the wall in.
Hmm. I would love to be in any room where the band My Chemical Romance have wrote a song because I would just love to be there and because some of their songs are about the most random things
Hmm.
and I would love to know just how that came about because one of their songs is just about teenagers being scary. I'm pretty sure most people know that song and I just want to know how did they sit there and just let's write a song about teenagers. I would just love to know what happens.
So what you just described is exactly why I have a podcast.
There you
So
go.
the way all of this started was me and my wife went to a show, and I don't even remember the show, but I heard a lyric, and I said to my wife, I wonder what she meant by that. And my wife said, well, you should ask her.
Oh my god.
And that's how the podcast started.
Wow. That's actually incredible.
Yep.
See, now we know something fun about you just because I
Yeah, so
asked
now
you.
we're like 540 something episodes later, right? Like crazy
That's
stuff.
amazing.
All right,
Aw.
next one. Choose one of these two segments, either biggest lesson or moment of gravity.
Biggest lesson.
All right, so what is the biggest lesson you think you have learned directly from music?
There have definitely been a lot of micro lessons, but I think the biggest takeaway is not this is kind of basic, but it's just not worry about what other people think of you. I think growing up as a teenage girl, I would constantly be worried about, oh, what does this person think about what I wear, or how I do my hair, or the songs that I sing, because I guess that's not really normal in my generation. But I've just learned I don't care what they think. I'm having fun, and that's really all that matters.
I think it needs to be more like that in this generation, though, because of the internet, right? Like, the internet
I
is
definitely agree.
so ugly. All right, I got two more, and then we'll let you go. This next one's called Grateful. What are the three things you're the most grateful for?
Music as a whole, I think it has changed my life. My family, love my family, and I love my friends.
All right, cool. And last one, this segment is called Who Do You Think You Are? So who is Francesca Tarantino?
I'm a girl who loves music. I love guitar. I love music that was not made in my generation. I love nature. I love baking. I love my friends. And I love meeting new people when I perform. Probably my biggest takeaway.
Very nice. We have Francesca Tarantino here for the first time ever, and I'm going to tell you guys how you can follow along with her. I got a chuckle out of this when I first learned about who you are online. And in case you guys are wondering, somehow your name came across my algorithm, and I heard a song of yours. We made that song of the day. We do a song of the day every single day here on the show. And that's how I found out who you are. And at first, I thought your name was Francis Cat.
Everyone has thought that. Don't worry. Sometimes I will read my own email, my personal email, and think that it's Francis Cat.
Yeah.
So it's okay. I understand.
So when you make a full band, when you finally make a full band, that has to be the name of the band.
I can understand that. I'll keep that in my mind.
Yeah, because you already have the email, right? I mean, it's
that's
perfect.
True.
So no, it's not Francis Cat. It's Francesca T. And that's where you can follow along with her. Francesca T Music on Facebook, Francesca T Music on Instagram, and it's Francesca Tarantino on YouTube. You guys make sure you're following along. The website is francescatarantino.com. You're going to find her music. You can contact her there. You can find out about all of her upcoming dates there, which is plentiful, especially if you're in the Central Florida area. Francesca, how would you say is the best way for folks to support you as an artist?
I would say stream my music on all streaming platforms and let me know what you think on Instagram.
Yeah, and she will answer you.
Yeah, I will, exactly.
Francesca, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and it was so much fun having you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
I'm Jody.
And I'm Jordan.
Together we are
the Couldn't Be Happiers.
Thanks for tuning in to the Boston Chris podcast.